So, well, say good night, gentlemen. I'm going to go head home. So, see you guys next time.
Recording in progress.
All right. Good evening. This is the Chicago Computer Society South Suburban Computer Club meeting for August 2025. Tonight we got a pretty good full slate. I have a lot of material on handout and some interesting tips that I've stumbled across in the last 2 weeks. It seems like most of the time, the last 1 or 2 weeks, I find all kinds of stuff that otherwise I might not have known about or disseminated to the rest of you. Ron Freeman's going to do a little demo tonight, we hope, and he's going to do it in 30 seconds.
35.
Oh, okay. I'll accept that. So, does anybody have any immediate questions before we get started? Any issues that people are hot to trot about? Okay. I will warn you that the August cumulative update, some people are reporting some problems, and some believe it is causing SSDs to die. I have umpteen machines here, and I don't have every one of them up to date, but every one of them that I installed the Windows 11 August update has absolutely had no problems. So something tells me those individuals may have had an unknown, unrecognized problem to begin with. And you might say that update broke the camel's back, I guess is the best way to put it. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Ron and let him do his demo in 35 seconds.
You know, it might be a little bit longer because it's the total upgrade of a computer system from Windows 10 to Windows 11 in place. So this is the fourth in a series of 5 programs that I've kind of put out there. This is at the point now where you've seen, you know, that your computer can be upgraded. You've prepped your machine, and you're ready to actually do. And your computer is passes the PC health check to say that it can be upgraded with Windows 11. You don't have to go out and buy a new computer. You just want to do the upgrade. And we're going to do an upgrade in place. There are 2 different ways of doing it. I'm going to do the ultra simple method and then talk about the other method. Again, make sure you have your password, your administrator account, your username, and your password for an administrator account on your Windows 10 computer. Make sure your BitLocker is off. Make sure your compression, your partition compression is off. If all you're using is folder compression, you don't have to worry about it unless it's an operating system folder. But if it's just a folder for your files or whatever, you don't necessarily have to worry about it. It's great if you can do a backup of some sort. In the past, we've talked about just backing up to a USB drive. At least back up your profile, which is in the C:\users folder. For everyone who has an account in that folder, you probably want to copy all their entire profile over, just in case this, a file doesn't copy or isn't saved properly during the in-place upgrade. Never had that happen so far. The disasters are usually much worse than that, than files not being there. And that only happens 1 in 20 times. 95% of the time, everything works great. If I was betting on flipping a coin and 95% of the time it flipped heads, chances are I would bet it would flip on heads again. So that's just the kind of odds that you're dealing with. Make sure all your apps have been updated, your OS have been updated, and your drivers have been updated to whatever the latest version of OS 10 that you're running. Make sure your antivirus is turned off. Upgrades and updates just don't like, well, actually, they don't care. It's the antivirus that cares that these things are coming in and don't like it. You probably want to turn your OneDrive sync off if you're using it. You probably don't want to have it. You don't want syncing. And at that point, you're pretty much ready to go. There's two ways of doing an in-place upgrade. One is to have, there's more than two ways, but in this case, you have a way you can download the current Windows 11 ISO file direct from Microsoft, or you can use the installation assistant from Microsoft. I'm gonna show you the installation assistant. You don't have to download anything in advance. It does the downloading, install, and finishes up. And you can see. So rather than us watching this for 2 hours, which would be a little bit long for this meeting, I have videotaped a session. And so let me share that. Okay, let's make sure I have everything I need here. There we go, that looks right. And I am going to share an application window. Okay, is everyone seeing my application? Oh, we've already started. Let's go back to the beginning. All righty, and I want to move this out of the way. All right, I'm going to pause this. Okay, so since this is a screenshot of actually what is going on, you should be seeing my desktop screen from last night, and the clock is running on this. So you should be able to see when we get started after it logs in here. You should be able to actually see the amount of time it takes. Through the magic of digital video, we're going to be speeding up certain parts of it to about a minute a second. So we're about 60 times speed during certain longer portions. The entire process that we're going to be talking about took 1 hour and 40 minutes. So you can, in real life, you can go away, get your cup of coffee, or go eat dinner, or whatever you need to do, go out grocery shopping, and be set. So here we go. I'm going to get started here. Right. Oh, I gotta make sure. Here we go. Okay, so make sure my clock is running. Yes. So I'm logging in as an administrator. This is just this happens to be Windows 10 Pro 22H2. And we'll be upgrading to Windows 11 Pro 22H2. These are retail licenses. These aren't anything fancy. And we'll see how well it works doing it. So logging in, I'm going to speed this up a little bit here. There we go. Now let's stop that for a moment. So this is my desktop. Not a whole lot there, but a couple things I wanted to show you. There's some applications on here which are not part of Windows. We have GIMP. We have a voice over IP phone app. We have a database app called Polaris, and we have a scheduling app. Plus, we have a couple Office 2016 files, a Word file, and an Excel file. So this is what our starting platform is. And once we're ready to go, what you're going to go do is you're going to go to well, actually, I think what we're going to do first is we're just going to verify, what our configuration is. Nope. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the files. No, we are going to figure it out, right? We're going to run PC Health. We just want to double check that this machine was okay, that it didn't change since last week. And we're just going to open up the PC Health Check from Microsoft. It's installing, and it's going to pop up here. We're going to check. We're going to show the results. It says it meets all the requirements in terms of very, very, very minimums. It does meet the requirements. When you do this, and depending on which status you've done and what you've done for updates, you may actually see a screen here that says, do you want to update to Windows 11 right now as part of Windows Update? And you can check that. I had put it on pause, and unfortunately, it doesn't come back for another week. That will show me then, do you want to upgrade? And I didn't want to wait that long. But here we can see we were running Windows 10 Pro. In fact, let's stop that. Let's move back a little bit here, so you can see that I was running which version I was running here. Here we go. Let's come back to here. All right, and we're gonna go here. We good. So, I have to get to the next screen here. Again, this is all on video, so that I don't really control what it's doing. Let's go here a little bit faster. A little bit faster. A little bit faster. Oh, helps if I press the play button. There we go. All right. So as you can see, it's saying in the lower part of the screen here of the system about settings, it says I'm running Windows 10 Pro 22H2. All right. There we go. Continuing again. All right. So where are we here? We are, if you wanted to get here real quick, it's aka.ms/download Windows 11. That's what we are. It resolves to the address which you see up here in the browser. And the first thing that you'll see here is a Windows 11 installation assistant. I want to show you where you can also download the ISO. It's on the same page here, so we will run through that real quick. So you can create installation media. You can just, it's just easy to run it from the Windows 11 disk image. It holds all the images for Windows 11 except enterprise and education license. Those are not available in the ISO here, but Pro, Home, multi-country, they're all in here. So you only have one choice. It's get Windows 11 and 64-bit, and you're set to go. It's going to check out, make sure you're legit. You're going to choose the language that you want, so you can read all the screens. It verifies your download. You can download it, and it's a 5 gig download, so I'm gonna download it a little bit faster. Mine took 3 minutes. I have a 1 gig network access at my place, so your mileage may vary in terms of how long it takes. And I'm just downloading it directly to my hard drive. And this particular computer has a hard drive. It doesn't have SSD. So everything you're seeing, and again, watch the clock in the lower right-hand corner to tell you how long it's taking. Let's stop it here for a moment and go back just a tad here. Okay. Righty. Let's download. All right. So there you can see the Windows 11 installation assistant is in my downloads folder. And that's all you do is you launch the application. It's going to come up to ask you for a license, and it starts downloading. It's going to download all the things that it needs, all the updates, everything. You don't have to pre-download anything. It's just going to run. And at this point, as you can see, it runs real fast when you have the speed control on your computer, special accelerator pedal, and it's downloading everything. And now it's installing. Now, the very beginning of this installs quickly because a lot of it is just configuration stuff. So it goes very quick. I'm actually going to pull this up to 64 speed because once you get up to 70%, 60 or 70%, it really runs slow. We were getting a 1% change every 6 minutes. And that's on the system that computer is. Notice we're not downloading anymore. We're actually in the middle of installation right now. And we just kind of want to watch it. Should go pretty quick. It doesn't actually go all the way to 100%. It will stop. It will stop. Notice what it's saying when it reaches the end of this installing. And if you're not there at the computer, it will wait 30 minutes and then finish up whatever other installation it needs to do. We're not going to wait that 30 minutes. We're going to be watching it as it happens. And of course, as you can see, this is the percentages are increasing. It'll get up to about 92% or thereabouts. And then we'll jump to 100% because it'll be done at that time. Nothing that you have to do. It's done all the downloads, all the configuration. It made sure what it needs to have. It double checked it, triple checked it. So this is just kind of running as you might hope it would. Hope you expect it would. And let's see what we got here. So in the you might be able to see down here in the lower left corner the actual time of the recording, and you can see how the seconds are moving relatively quickly. Fortunately, I don't have to deal with life at that speed, but we're about 2 minutes away now from we're already at 91%. There we go. So we're getting about a minute every 2 seconds, thereabouts. This is a boring. But that's it. You could have gone out and we all could have gone out and got a cup of coffee and brought it back to watch this part. All right, so we're getting near the end now. I'm going to put this back to single speed. Maybe I'll just go up to double speed here. Just see what happens. So we're at 92%. You think, oh my gosh, I got another 8% to do. And in fact, what's going to happen is within the minute or within the half minute, it's actually going to jump to 100% and start the countdown for 30 minutes so that it can continue its reboot and finish up the installation process. Oh, helps if I hit the button and allow it to continue on. I'm going to get rid of this whiteboard marker here. Okay. There it goes, 100%. And now we're doing the 30-minute countdown, which I'm going to speed up. I let it run for 5 minutes, so it's going to go down. It's going to count down to 25. And when it does that, it's going to say ready to sign out, signs out, and restart. So now the computer is restarting, and now it's already up to 62%. This part takes a little while. Again, we've all been through updates on Windows, and we know how long these kind of things take. There we go. And it's done and it's ready for me to log in now. So here it is, ready to log in. As you can see, it's doing the normal thing. I'm entering my password wrong probably a couple times here because I never remember the password and it's not automatic with me. Comes up and it's going to continue to do more configuration. It's going to configure your profile and everything, make sure all the profile stuff's ready for what you had before and that it's compatible with what you're doing right now. But most of the stuff probably looks familiar to you. Let's speed that up a little bit. And there it is. Next thing it's going to do, it's going to ask you for the standard Windows 11 privacy pieces of information. I just refuse them all. I want to be relatively private. And it comes up, and this is your Windows 11 context menus. This is the start menu. As you can see, if you look down here at the bottom, it's the centered Windows 11 taskbar. My apps seem to be here okay. And in fact, what I'm going to do right now is I'm actually going to switch to that actual computer so we can do a quick look at it and figure out how well it did its job. So it did put a new background. You remember my background originally was just a gray color background. And this actually, they dropped in one of the Microsoft fancy schmancy backgrounds. It also has some other things. I mean, you'll see that there are some new icons down here. It does install the Outlook, the new Outlook app. It does install personal Teams. So it's doing some stuff. I didn't really even check to have it as Copilot. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to switch. I'm going to stop my sharing here. Here's my share button. Okay. And turn that off. Oops, no, that didn't turn it off. Oh, stop share might help. There we go. All right. And now I'm going to go to my other camera here, which is actually the actual computer itself. There we go. So here's the actual computer that we just did. Let me maximize that for me for seeing here. Okay. You can see the apps are still here. The GIMP, the Schedule 3W, the voice over phone, the database app. Here's that Word file. Yeah, it helps if I press the right button. There we go. Right computer. All right. So here I am. Opens up. It's opening up Word 2016. There's my test document telling me what it is because it's a smart document. I used AI for this. But there it is. It's all in place. Everything is working. Let's just double check a few things here. I'm going to go into settings and we're going to look at the system about page. There we go. Oop. There we go. Let's go to about. All right. So here it is. It's telling me the computer name. So this was an 8th generation Intel i5, only 8 gigs of RAM. Same stuff we saw before. Here it is, Windows 11 Pro, 24H2, installed last night for your fun and pleasure. Let's look at the product key. Oh, product key, it's already activated because Windows 10 was activated and it was a legit copy of Windows 10, although I could change it if I wanted to, if I had a separate key and wanted license, because remember, this is using the multi version of the installer for Windows 11, multi different versions. That is the primary information that we want to know. It is fully functional. I played around with it last night. All my all my bookmarks from Chrome, all my passwords were there. The only thing I had to do, and I didn't see it though when I did it this time. Let's open this up. I'm gonna open up Microsoft Word. You'll notice up here I have a warning. So let's open up the warning and see what it says. It says there's a problem with your account. I'm saying, oh, didn't it get my 2016 license? So just because I know what this is here, let's go to more and go to account. And my product is activated. My Windows 2016 product fully activated. No problem. The problem is it didn't like my Microsoft account that I used, that I associated with my Office account. So it really is a Microsoft Cloud issue. I just got to re-enter my password for my cloud access, and I'm fine. It didn't take away from my ability to use the product because the product is fully activated. That's about it. It was a little bit more than 35 seconds. Any questions?
One issue I want to bring up in the presentation at the beginning of the installation, you mention about asking for the product key. All you have to do there for everybody is go to the bottom of that screen and click on I don't have the key. It automatically, during the installation, picks up your valid Windows 10 key and makes it valid for 11.
Mine did not ask for a key.
Some do, some don't. And
Some do.
I've tried both.
So it might ask for a key if you're using the ISO. So that's a good point. Let me show you what the ISO install looks like. So we did the installation assistant from Microsoft to upgrade to Windows 11. And there is a difference between using the ISO and using the installation wizard from Microsoft. And it has to do with undoing your upgrade to Windows 11. So let me go back there and share my screen. What am I doing here? I want to change cameras is what I want to do. Let's go back to my camera, change cameras. All right, let's minimize, let's get rid of that. Well, let's go to the right one here. All right, so, I have here, okay, so what I have here, this is the download. In my downloads folder, I have the Windows 11 24H2 English x64 ISO file. This is that bottom thing in the menu where I could download the ISO file if I wanted to do that. And to launch an in-place upgrade, this is right here on the same hard drive of this computer. If I was on Windows 10, I could just double-click that file. Up will pop up the contents because Windows 10 allows you to mount and open an ISO file directly. And I can just double click the setup exe file, which is in the ISO file. And what it'll do is it'll start up, and this is what it will start up to. It goes to this. Let me go back a step. I can't go back right now. All right. It will go up and say, do I want to get, it'll ask me, what app do I want to get updates? I don't want to do updates if I'm using the ISO file. I don't want it to take any extra time. One thing I want to be sure of is I don't want to help make the installation better, so I'll uncheck that. I will click on this, and it will start the Windows 11 setup. It's going to figure out what Windows 10 is there. There it goes. It's checking that. When it gets to that, it's going to ask me, I got to accept the license again. It's going to ask me, do I want to do a clean installation? Which I don't. I want to keep my files and I want to keep my apps. So it's going to give me the options as to what I want to do. And I don't know how long this takes. I did not record this. I apologize. But it's going to come up here and it's going to ask me, and you just want to make sure that you tell it that you want to keep your files and keep your apps when it does the install. And it will go through and do pretty much what we just saw happen with the installation assistance. Here's the big difference. If you choose the option to undo your Windows 11 installation, it will not undo a Windows 11 installation that uses the online install wizard. Because it'll say the files you need are no longer available. If you use the ISO file and walk away for the hour and a half that it takes to do everything, when you're done and you say, oh, this didn't work right, I want to undo all the changes I made, the Windows 11 ISO, it'll allow you the revert back to Windows 10 option works because the files are there on your disk already. So that's the one major difference that I noticed. And the other difference is I don't have an accelerator key to make this go faster. That's it. Any other questions?
Remember, everybody's muted. So if anybody's got a question or a comment, unmute first.
Unmute yourself if you have a question or comment. Thank you. None? Great.
Okay.
Glad we could do it.
I got a tip and it applies to 10 and 11. And I just came across this like Saturday or Sunday. And it kind of surprised me that it's something you have to activate. In other words, it's decommissioned right now on your system unless you went in and made the change. So what I'm going to attempt to do hang on one second here. All right, what I'm going to attempt to do here is share, oops, wrong screen. Sorry about that. I got multiple computers, multiple machines, and I got to be in the right one. All right. Share my desktop. Now, what this tip is, it works and is located virtually the same place on 10 and 11. There's just a tiny bit of difference, but you'll recognize it right off the bat. I'm going to start button, settings, go to system, scroll down to storage. Open up storage. You should have your storage sense turned on, because even if you don't go in and manually do cleanup, usually it's set to default every 30 days to get rid of the oldest junk that's out there. But what you want to do is scroll down and go to advanced storage settings. And down at the bottom here is, or next to the bottom on 10, is disk drive optimization. This is good for older systems, especially with slow storage like HDD spinning hard drives, eMMC storage memory, and SATA drives, and low-end cost NVMe drives. Just click on optimize, give it whatever your administrator's password is if you did this in a standard account, or just say yes if you're in the administrator's account, and there's nothing else to do. Close, close. you will not see anything demonstrative. You will, over time, get optimization of files in your storage drive as to the most used files to the least used files, so that everything tends to be defragmented, and the stuff you load the most, like the operating system, those files will be up at the beginning of the drive, and it will accelerate the time it takes to get things done. So this was is a hidden little gotcha that was on one of these little quick videos that was only 3 minutes, and trust me, it went so fast I couldn't see exactly what he was doing, but I saw enough to be able to find it on my own systems. But I found that it works on 10 as well, because I have 10 systems still, and I activated it there. But I will say, for those people who are on 10, one thing you definitely need to do, if you can manage it, and sometimes you can get help from other people, is to change a spinning hard drive to a solid state drive. In many cases, you can buy used ones that came out of working systems that are completely formatted and blanked, and you can clone your existing 10 hard drive content over to the SSD, swap the two out, and end up with a much faster machine in place of that slow hard drive. It's one of the best things you can do. So that's my first tip for the night. Now let's see if I can get something else going here. And all right. Now I'm going to do a little video here, and I hope it works out. Sometimes there are settings that have to be changed. What the heck did that do? Come on. What are you doing? This is bringing up a video editor, which I'm not asking for. And one of the settings is not set.
To choosing a web browser. I'm Huey Poplock. So what is a web browser? Web browser is a software application used to access and explore the internet. It helps you view websites, search for information, and interact online. Think of it like a digital window to the World Wide Web. Each browser has unique features and characteristics. Meet the browsers. We'll explore 8 popular web browsers: Brave, Opera, Arc, DuckDuckGo, Chrome, Safari, Firefox, Edge, and Dia. We'll compare their key features, strengths, and unique qualities. We'll talk about some new browsers: OpenAI browser, Perplexity Comet, Delta Surf, Ladybird, and Zen. So get ready to become a browser expert. Brave browser, the privacy champion. It focuses heavily on user privacy and security. Built-in ad and tracker blocking. Rewards users with cryptocurrency for viewing ads. Supports multiple platforms, Windows, Mac, Linux, and mobile. And it's the fastest browser in many speed tests. I used Brave browser on a regular basis for a while, and it was a very good and fast browser. Opera, the feature-packed browser, includes built-in VPN or virtual private network. Free messaging apps integrated directly in browser. There's a sidebar for quick access to social media and messaging. It's Chromium-based, meaning fast and compatible with many websites. It has a unique sidebar for productivity. It was originated in Norway but is now owned by the Chinese. Arc, the design-focused browser, currently only available for Mac. Highly innovative user interface. It focuses on productivity and clean design. Unique tab management system and spatial organization of browsing tabs. DuckDuckGo, privacy mobile browser. Designed primarily for mobile devices, its extreme focus on user privacy. It blocks online trackers automatically. It's simple, clean interface, and there's no personal data collected. Chrome, the Google giant. It's developed by Google. Massive library of extensions. It syncs perfectly with Google services. It's very fast performance, available on almost all platforms and most popular browser worldwide. It happens to be my default browser. Safari, Apple's native browser. Default browser for Apple devices. Excellent battery efficiency. Its seamless integration with Apple ecosystem. There's strong privacy features, and it's only available on Apple devices. Firefox, the open source option. Developed by Mozilla Foundation. It's open source software. Strong privacy protections. Customizable interface. Available on multiple platforms and supports extensive add-ons. Microsoft Edge, the Windows default. It's the default browser for Windows computers. It's based on Chromium, like Google Chrome. Good compatibility with websites, a built-in Microsoft service integration, and there's a reading mode and collections feature. Dia, the lightweight browser. Extremely lightweight browser, minimal resource usage, simple, clean interface, designed for speed and efficiency, less feature-rich compared to others. It's Mac OS only, version 14 or newer, and requires the M1 chip or later. And it's currently in invite-only beta and not available for Windows or Linux. Perplexity Comet, smart browsing with contextual memory. Conversational search with memory across tabs. Real-time Q&A interface with trusted resources. Designed for fast, natural interactions with the web. It's available exclusively to Perplexity Max subscribers at $200 per month. Surf by Data, the AI-powered research companion. Notebook-style browser organizing your content. Integrated AI answers from pages, docs, and video. Context-based content, sorting, and interaction. It's an open alpha, and it's available for Mac, Windows, and Linux. Ladybird, open source from the ground up. Built on the LibWeb engine, not Chromium or Gecko. Privacy-focused and completely independent. It's ideal for developers and open source enthusiasts. Flow by Eco. Fast embedded browser for low-power devices. Its multi-threaded engine optimized for speed. It's designed for smart TVs, kiosks, and devices. It's lightweight and performance-driven architecture. Every element is drawn directly via GPU or graphics processing unit. It's embedded and desktop ready. The desktop SDK support exists for Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and Android. Zen browser. Productivity meets privacy. Firefox based with Arc-style vertical tabs. Split view, privacy tools, and no Google dependencies. Fully customizable and open source. It's cross-platform, available for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. Browser speed comparison. Brave and Chrome typically are the fastest. Opera and Edge are close behind. Firefox and Safari, moderate speed. Dia is designed for minimal resource use. Speed can vary based on device and internet connection. Private rankings. Brave and DuckDuckGo are the top privacy protection. Firefox has strong privacy features. Safari, good built-in protections. Opera, moderate privacy. And Chrome has the lowest privacy ranking. Cross-platform availability. Chrome, Firefox, Opera are available for most platforms. Safari, Apple devices only. Arc, Mac and iOS. Edge, Windows focused. And Dia, multiple platforms. Which browser should you choose? Privacy focused. Choose Brave or DuckDuckGo. Apple user, Safari works the best. Want lots of features? Try Opera. Google ecosystem, Chrome is ideal. Minimal and fast, consider Dia. Browser selection factors. Consider your primary device. Think about your privacy needs. Check extension, add-on compatibility. Consider performance and speed. And evaluate unique features. Browser security tips. Always keep your browser updated. Use strong, unique passwords. Enable two-factor authentication. Be cautious of unknown extensions. And regularly clear your browsing data. The future of web browsers? There's an increasing focus on privacy. More built-in security features. Better resource management. Enhanced cross-device synchronization. And AI-powered browsing experiences. Your browser, your choice. No single is best. Each has strengths and weaknesses. Experiment and find out what works for you. Your needs will determine the right browser. Stay informed about browser updates. And you can have multiple browsers on your system and use different ones for different purposes or just for testing. Okay, here are all of the browsers, and we're going to compare them with each other in various topics. First, the focus. And you can see Brave has privacy and ad blocking, where Opera is feature-rich, built-in tools. I'm just going to skip down a few here. Chrome has speed and Google integration. So it's a mixture and a lot of what I already discussed about these. So they have different focuses. And then, do they have ad blocking? Well, the ones that don't are Arc, Chrome, Safari, Firefox, Dia, OpenAI browser, and Perplexity Comet, and Delta Surf and Ladybird browser. But some of them have extensions that can block ads. How about privacy level? And again, each of them are rated from very strong to moderate to minimal, and many of them are medium, and Ladybird is to be determined. In other words, they haven't figured it out yet. It's too new. Speed, very fast is Brave, Edge, and the OpenAI AI browser, and several are fast. There are none that are really slow. Extension support, DuckDuckGo does not have extension support. Safari is limited. Dia is no, and Ladybird they're planning on it. Extension support I just did, but the OS support, there are the ones that say yes mean most of them. OpenAI AI browser has Windows and Mac, but it's going to be determined. It's not completely done yet. And same for Perplexity and Delta, and Ladybird's in development. And let's see, Zen browser does have cross-platform, and Safari's pretty much Apple only, and DuckDuckGo is mobile only. Notable features. Again, these were mostly things that I covered when I went through the various slides, but if you want to take a picture with your phone, this would give you the notable features of all of them. And the ones that jump out, the ones I like are Firefox's reader mode, Edge's AI search, Copilot, collections, VPN, and vertical tabs. It also has a reader mode that's very good. And let's see if there's any others here. The Ladybird browser is a libweb engine, privacy-focused design, and you can read the other ones. Security strength, Brave is very strong, DuckDuckGo is very strong, Firefox is very strong. Target audience, and there's the various audiences for the different browsers. Brave, privacy, crypto users, Opera, tool-heavy users, visual customizers, Arc, creative professionals, multitaskers, DuckDuckGo, privacy-minded mobile users, Chrome, general users and Google users, Safari, Apple users, Firefox, privacy-conscious open source fans, Dia, users needing a fast, low-resource browser, Edge, Windows ecosystem and AI users, OpenAI browser, AI-focused users, productivity seekers, Perplexity Comet, knowledge workers and AI early adopters, Delta Surf researchers, info organizers, Ladybird browser, open source supporters and developers, and Zen browser, privacy users and power users. This has been the ultimate guide to choosing a web browser. I'm Huey Poplock.
Okay, I do have to make a correction to what Huey did present there regarding the Arc browser. First off, it is available on Windows as well, but Arc browser is now in a maintenance mode, no new feature changes to it, because they are also the ones developing Dia browser, which is Mac only right now. If they make a Windows version of that, I wouldn't expect it before sometime next year, maybe in the summertime or something like that. So that's something that you have to take with a grain of salt. The other thing that I want to mention that is not in the list, and that's the funny part about it, is that many of the browsers that he listed there are based upon the same thing Chrome browser is based upon, which is the Chromium web browser. And that's the foundation of a lot of the browsers people use on their systems. So I wanted to make that clear. So I'm going to close this down, and I'm going to bring up the browser. And by the way, this is DuckDuckGo. I can't use that one. So I'm going to close that, open up Chromium. And sorry about that. I'm not worried about the error. On a new window. Come on, get out of my way. Darn it. There we go. Now, while I'm doing that, I'm going to, come on, copy that, and I'm going to stop sharing for a moment because it'll make this a little bit easier. I'm giving the handout early because I don't know how much we're going to get to. And that's available now in the chat. So if you go to the chat, you can download my handout. And I'm going to go back into the sharing. And okay. And get out of my way. All right.
But as always, you guys have a great day.
Now, come on. There we go.
Windows 10 loses support on October 14th, 2025. And according to my comment section, a lot of you have absolutely no intention on switching to Windows 11. So in that case, today we're going to talk about what you should do to Windows 10 to prepare yourself for end of support. Stay tuned. So on October 14th, 2025, is your computer going to self-destruct like the tape in Mission Impossible? No, it's not. In fact, it's highly likely nothing will happen in the short term. Just like when Windows 7 lost support, there were no serious vulnerabilities for quite some time. Of course, there are many today, and in a few years, there are going to be many for Windows 10 as well. But in the short term, it's very unlikely that we're going to see any major security problems with Windows 10. So today, I'm going to show you some of the precautions you should take today to prepare yourself for when Windows 10 ultimately does lose support. But first, I got to pay some bills. So check out today's sponsor. Are you still running Windows 11 unactivated? Mark? And check out the description for deals on not just Windows, but Office too. Now, on with the video. So, as a disclaimer, if you've watched many of my videos on my channel, then you probably already know that I highly recommend against running Windows 10 after support ends in October. This is because one of the most important aspects of computer security is running up-to-date software. That's why I recommend not running Windows 10 after end of life. But with that said, the libertarian in me doesn't like being told what to do either. So, for those people who are going to continue to run Windows 10, regardless of my advice, I want to give you some pointers on how you can remain as safe as possible once support ends on Windows 10. So with that said, what we should start out with is making sure you can fix your Windows 10 system after the October deadline. Because there's a really good chance, and by really good chance, I mean this is definitely going to happen. Microsoft is going to remove access to the Windows 10 ISO once it reaches end of life. So if you want a copy of the official Windows 10 ISO from Microsoft and not one from some dodgy website, it's a really good idea to grab one now while it's still available. So We're going to go ahead and jump on the system real quick and do that, but stay tuned because there's a lot more advanced stuff coming up. Let's do this. Okay, so like I said, we're going to start out with making a USB boot drive for Windows 10. Now make sure you have a USB drive with at least 8 gigabytes of free space on it. And then some you can store away in your drawer because you're probably going to need this at some point later. Once we create this though, I'm going to go through and show you how to harden the security in Windows 10 to make it a little bit more impenetrable once you lose updates. So the first thing we want to start with is go ahead and throw our USB drive into our USB port. And this one here is already a Windows 10 USB drive, but I'm going to go ahead and recreate this just to show you how. And I'm personally using a 32 gig thumb drive because that's the only one I had available for this video. But anything 8 gigs and higher is going to work just fine. So we can go ahead and close this. I'm going to launch Chrome here, and as you can see, we're on Microsoft's website, and I'll go ahead and leave a link to this down in the description below. But what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down and we're going to go right here where it says create Windows 10 installation media. So we're going to download that right here. This is the media creation tool, and we can go ahead and open that up just by hitting yes, and it goes through the process here of helping us create a USB drive. And once this starts, we can go ahead and close everything else. And from right here, we're going to go ahead and hit accept to the license agreement. Going to wait a minute while it's getting a few things ready. There's a lot of waiting on this right here, but the nice thing is all you got to do is hit next. Now on this one right here, we don't want to upgrade this PC now. All this would do is an in-place upgrade. That's not what we're looking to do. We want to create the install media on a USB drive. So we're going to go ahead and click that and hit next. We're going to go ahead and leave the recommended settings. This is essentially auto-detected based on the version of Windows that we're currently running. So all of that is fine. We can go ahead and hit next. And then we want ours to be a USB flash drive. You can create an ISO file if you want. If you want to have an ISO file on like a Wintoys CD or something like that, then you can use the ISO file option and it will just create you an ISO file. But on this one, I want to go ahead and use a USB drive. But keep in mind, if you create an ISO file, you can also use a program like Rufus to make a USB drive later. But I want to make a USB drive primarily because I want it to be off of this computer. I don't want to store an ISO on this computer because if the hard drive fails, then I don't have the ISO in order to reinstall it. So for this, I want to go ahead and make a USB drive so I can keep it in a drawer somewhere so I can keep it off the system itself. So we're going to do that. We're going to hit next. We're going to choose the USB that we want, which is our D drive, the one we just put in. Hit next. And at this point, it's going to download and install the Windows 10 installation files onto the USB drive. But it's going to take a while to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead until we're to the next step of this wizard. Okay, so here we go. Our USB drive has been created. We can go ahead and hit finish now. And it's going to go ahead and clean up a little bit before it's done. And we can double check on it by going to this PC and clicking on the USB drive. And as you can see, all of our setup files are there. Now, this might seem like a no-brainer, but to be honest with you, it wasn't the first thing on my list when I sat down to write this video. Once I thought of it though, I was like, well, duh. It's really important to have a USB drive created with a copy of Windows 10 on it so you can use it to do repair installs or in-place upgrades, which are essentially just repair installs, or even reinstall the entire operating system if something were to happen to it. If you don't have the USB created prior to Microsoft pulling the Windows 10 media creation tool, then your only option is going to be trying to find copies of the Windows 10 ISO from dodgy sources. Now, I'm not even saying that those sources are bad, but there's really no way of knowing. And at least if you get the media creation tool and create the USB now, you'll have confidence in knowing that the USB drive you created is safe. Now, with that said, once Windows 10 loses support, you're going to have to rely on other ways to secure Windows when vulnerabilities are inevitably discovered. Since you won't be relying on security updates, you're going to have to put more reliance on your antivirus. Luckily, Microsoft has already said that they will continue to provide definitions for Windows Defender until October of 2028. Now, if you're not using Defender, you're going to have to find out if the antivirus you're using will continue to support Windows 10. If it's unknown or it isn't, then it's best to uninstall it and use Windows Defender instead. And with that said, there are some tweaks that we can make with Windows Defender that can make it even more secure. So let's jump back on the system and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so to do that, all we're going to do is go down here and jump onto Windows Security. And from Windows Security, there's a couple settings that we need to change here. So go ahead and click on Virus and Threat Protection, and you want to click on Manage Settings right here. And then scroll all the way down to where it says Tamper Protection. And make sure this is turned on. For whatever reason, it could possibly be turned off, and if it is, go ahead and turn it back on. What this does is it stops malicious software from being able to disable Windows Defender. And then from here, we want to go back, and then we want to scroll down to right at the bottom here where it says ransomware protection. Go ahead and click on this link and flip this on right here. And what this should do is it should protect specific folders from unauthorized changes. And those folders are going to be right here in this link that says protected folders. If you click on that, it'll go ahead and give you all the folders that it's going to be protecting. And as you can see, it's going to be documents, pictures, videos, music, and favorites. If you want, you can throw your desktop folder in here. You can throw a lot of different folders in here that aren't already in here just by clicking the button to say add a protected folder. And then from here, we can go ahead and close Windows Security. And we're going to jump into Control Panel here just by typing Control Panel in the Start menu and launching it just like that. And then from here, we want to go ahead and click on System and Security. And then we want to click on Windows Defender Firewall right here. And then from here, go ahead and click on Advanced Settings. And there, we're looking for this link right here that says Windows Defender Firewall Properties. And then from here, what we're concerned with is domain, private, and public profiles. And we want to make sure that inbound connections are set to block for all three of those right there. And once you do that, you can go ahead and hit OK, and you can go ahead and close these things right here. Now, I've heard kind of mixed opinions on whether or not Windows Defender will continue to receive definitions. Ultimately, I'm about 98% sure that definitions will continue until 2028. However, some sources claim that Microsoft will not be updating definitions for Windows 10. But those same sources claim that Microsoft will be sending out security intelligence updates. And security intelligence updates are simply Microsoft's fancy way of saying virus definitions. So according to Microsoft, they will continue to send out security intelligence updates or virus definitions for Windows Defender until October of 2028. Also, Windows Defender has recently been updated to leverage AI-driven threat detection to identify patterns in malicious activities. So this should help to protect your PC even if you're not receiving security updates for Windows 10. So moving along though, there's also some Windows features that we can disable that are common vectors for attacks. In fact, ironically, these are the features that are typically the ones being patched with the security updates that you will no longer be receiving. But if you don't use them, then it's probably a good idea just to shut them off. Let's jump back on the system and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and launch Control Panel again. And from within Control Panel, we want to click on our Add and Remove Programs link, and then we want to click right here where it says Turn Windows Features On or Off. And then from here, we want to scroll down. The first feature we're going to be disabling is right here where it says SMB 1.0. Now, this is the original SMB protocol for Windows, and it's extremely outdated. Most software doesn't use it anymore, and in fact, it's normally disabled by default on Windows 10. This was like the Windows file sharing from the Windows XP era. It's been obsolete for a really long time, but there are some reasons why some people might have it turned on, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. And then also, you want to make sure that the Telnet client as well as TFTP client are also turned off. And once you do that, you can go ahead and hit OK. It's going to go through and it's going to configure Windows. And it's going to want you to restart. Now, I'm not going to restart because I'm currently screen recording, but you can go ahead and restart your PC at that point. And then the next thing, we're going to go ahead and jump back into Control Panels. We're going to click on System and Security, and then we want to go into the System section. Now, if you just click on that straight, it's just going to open the new Windows settings, and that's not what we want. We want to right-click and hit Open so we can get to the old traditional system properties for Windows 10. And then from here, we want to click over on the side right here where it says Remote Settings. Go ahead and click on that. And this is your remote desktop protocol or your remote desktop settings right here. And a lot of people have these turned on so they can remote into a computer from somewhere else. But I would highly recommend turning that off if Windows 10 isn't being updated anymore. And you can also uncheck the allow remote assistant connections to this computer. By turning both of these off, then go ahead and hit OK. It should completely disable the remote desktop protocol. And then from here, we're going to close that, and we're going to launch our regedit here. Go ahead and say yes to the user account control, and we want to go into local machine, software, and then from software, we want to scroll down to Microsoft, and then we want to go into Windows. So we're going to scroll down. This is all alphabetical, so just scroll down into the W's. There's Windows right there. And then we're going to go into current version, and then we're going to go into policies right here, and then we're going to go into Explorer. And then we're going to right click, hit new, DWORD 32-bit value, and the name of this is going to be no auto run. Go ahead and type that exactly how I have it on the screen here and hit enter. And then we want to open that and change the value from 0 to 1. And what this does is it disables the auto run when you put a USB drive or CD into the computer. So if somebody was to have a USB drive with some kind of malware on it, it wouldn't really matter because it's not going to auto run anyway. Now, obviously, with some of these features, if you use them, it might not be a great idea to turn them off. But you have to weigh whether or not it's worth using these features if they can become a liability later on. For instance, the SMB 1.0 that we talked about before is typically disabled by default on Windows 10. However, if you have an old printer that scans to SMB, it's probably using the 1.0 protocol. So you'll have to decide whether or not it's worth being a little less secure in order to use your scanner, or at least to use the SMB feature within your scanner. Also, remember that SMB 1.0, the protocol itself, hasn't been updated in years. That's one of the reasons that it comes disabled by default. But with that said, lots of security issues from within Windows are because of exploits making use of scripting languages within Windows. So it might be a good idea to turn those scripting languages off so that even if a vulnerability was present, the scripting language wouldn't be available to exploit it in the first place. So let's jump back on the system and I'll show you how to disable them. Okay, so while we're still here in the registry, we want to go ahead and scroll back up to Microsoft here. So we're going to go into, I think we're actually there, and we want to scroll down into the Windows script host right here, and then go ahead and go into settings. And then from here, we want to right click, hit new, DWORD 32-bit value, and then for the value, it's just going to be enabled. Go ahead and hit enter. And we want to make sure to open this and verify that it is 0. And what this will do is it will disable the Windows script host. And then from there, we can go ahead and close regedit. But we do now need to open up PowerShell and go ahead and launch this as administrator here. And then what we're going to type is set execution policy all signed, and go ahead and hit enter, hit Y for yes, and what this will do is it will make sure that any PowerShell script has to be signed in order for it to run. If it's not signed, it won't run. So this will give you kind of a little bit of added protection. What you could do is you could just disable execution completely, but I think this is more of a middle ground because if a script is signed, then it's probably not malicious. Now, there are several other things that you can do from within Windows 10 to make it more secure. For instance, make sure that the actual software that you're running in Windows 10 is updated. Like running an outdated version of Java, for instance, probably isn't a great idea if you're also running an operating system that no longer receives security updates. Also, many Windows 10 systems have obsolete programs like Adobe Flash Player. If your system still has Flash installed, then it would be a really good idea to uninstall that, being that it went obsolete back in, 2020? Also, Windows 10 has the ability to take advantage of some of the more modern security features that Windows 11 has available to it. For instance, you can convert an MBR install of Windows 10 to UEFI, so you can take advantage of Secure Boot, as long as your motherboard itself supports booting to UEFI. But if I missed anything, which I probably did, go ahead and mention it down in the comments below so we can kind of get these Windows 10 systems as secure as possible. But ultimately, my recommendation is still just to upgrade Windows 10 to an operating system that still receives security updates, whether that be Windows 11 or even Windows 10 LTSC. We can do all the tweaks we want on Windows 10 and try to make it secure. And if you follow these recommendations, you have a better chance of not being exploited. But ultimately, your system is never going to be as secure as an operating system that is receiving updates. Also, everything we did today is temporary. Eventually, Windows 10 will be so far out of support that it's just not worth it anymore. Kind of like Windows 7 is today. But if you decide that you just want to check out some of these other alternatives, then you can check out this video here for upgrading Windows 10 to LTSC. And you can also...
Okay. Any questions or comments on this?
Flash drive, fiddle with a messy cord if you're connecting a phone, or set up a...
Any questions or comments on that video?
Yeah, is there a way I could get hold of that video? He went through so fast that I won't be able to do anything about my system.
Well, just a second. Think about this a little tiny bit. Most people would be playing this video either as a download with VLC, and both VLC and YouTube give you settings that allow you to speed up or slow down the video playing so that you can see things better and hear things better. So take that with a grain of salt. That's one option. Did you download the handout? Tom,
I haven't finished the handout yet.
you've got the link to get to that article.
Okay.
Anything I present here is in the handout, and usually a lot more that I can't get to because there isn't enough time.
Well, thank you. Fine. I didn't know it was in the handout, so that's all I need.
Well, I'm giving you two answers there. It's in the handout, yes, but it's also you can change the play speed in YouTube and in VLC and many other video playing programs. They always have some kind of speed control, so you can adjust it to your liking.
Yes. Thank you.
Not hearing anything else. This is an interesting one that I found here, and I'm not sure I ever knew about this one, so that's why I'm presenting at least most of it.
to another seems like it should be pretty simple to do. But think about it. You've probably had to use a flash drive, fiddle with a messy cord if you're connecting a phone, or set up a Windows local network, which can be tricky for a novice to configure. Well, there's actually a cool feature in recent versions of Windows called nearby sharing, which is supposed to be closer to a solution that just works without having to go through a bunch of extra steps. There are requirements you'll have to meet for nearby sharing to work, but they aren't onerous. You'll need to either be on Windows 11 or Windows 10 version 1803 or later, so if you're still rocking Windows 10, which is statistically most of you, you might need to run a Windows update cycle first. You'll also need Bluetooth 4.0 or later with low energy support. If you aren't sure if your system supports low energy, you can go to Device Manager, find your Bluetooth adapter, and find this listing under Details. If it says True, you're ready to go. Of course, Bluetooth isn't as fast as Wi-Fi for data transfer, so nearby sharing will still use Wi-Fi if the devices are on the same Wi-Fi network. But keep in mind, you still have to have Bluetooth for wireless device discovery to work. Additionally, the Wi-Fi network needs to be set to private in Windows settings, but an upcoming Windows update will remove this requirement. Now, as far as using nearby sharing over a wired Ethernet connection goes, Microsoft tells us this should work as long as the PCs are on the same network. But once you've confirmed that your PCs support nearby sharing, how do you actually use it? Well, we'll tell you right after we thank the sponsor for this video, Nexigo. Their new Aurora Pro 4K projector features 3 HDMI Dolby Vision support. Plus, its ultra-short throw design makes it great for rooms The Aurora Pro also has built-in 60-watt speed, will be cinematically enhanced. Nexi, go learn more at the link below. On Windows 11, you'll see an option for nearby sharing as soon as you open up the Settings app. Once you open it up, select either My Devices Only if you want to share with a PC logged into the same Microsoft account, or Everyone Nearby to share with any Windows PC that nearby sharing can detect. And make sure you do the same on the receiving computer. In Windows 10, just open up Action Center, where you can enable nearby sharing on both PCs. To actually share something, just right-click on the file you want, hit Share, then just select the PC you want to send the file to. A notification will pop up on the receiving PC, which will allow you to accept the incoming file. That's it! You can also share web links from Microsoft Edge by clicking the Settings and More menu, going to More Tools, and clicking Share, then Windows Sharing Options. And for photos, you can share those directly from the Windows Photos app by clicking on Share. But what if you're trying to use nearby sharing to connect a Windows PC and an Android device? Well, the built-in nearby sharing feature in Windows only works with other Windows PCs. There is an entirely different app called Nearby Share for Windows that isn't made by Microsoft. Yes, it's confusing, which you can find on the official Android website. Microsoft is working on their own solution for this, but don't expect it before May 2024 at the earliest. The requirements for Google's Nearby Share are similar to those of the Windows Nearby Share Ring. You'll need a 64-bit Windows 10 or 11 PC using an x86 processor, not an ARM one, and after running the app, just choose whether you want sharing enabled for everyone, your contacts, or just your own devices, and you're ready to go. All modern Android devices with Bluetooth support Nearby Share. Just open your list of files, tap the three dots next to the file you want, hit Share, and then Nearby. Remember, sharing is caring. Just make sure your friends are on board before you plop something unsolicited onto their devices. And thanks for letting this whole video play on your device. Like.
Okay. Any questions or comments on this one? Does anybody think they can use it?
One thing. This video is a little bit dated regarding Android and Windows.
That's true. And it also does not include iPhone, because iPhone is still not compatible, but there could be an iPhone app similar to the Android app that would allow the same thing to occur. But I stumbled across this and I thought, interesting. And yes, it is dated. But the bottom line is, did you know about the feature to begin with? If you didn't know about the feature, I don't care how old the video is, including 10 years old, you just learned something that was available. You got to update by doing your own research. And that's true of anything that I present or anybody else presents. You have to assume that this is a informative presentation, and you have to do the additional research yourself to make it a reality if you're really interested. All right. I'm going to go on to the next one here.
First of all, go and click on the
And you guys are driving me nuts. Sometimes I get into a video, and for some reason, sometimes it remembers where I stopped at, or it doesn't, and will start at the beginning. This is also a nearby sharing, but it's a total of 1 minute 6 seconds.
We'll guide you through how to use nearby sharing in Windows 11. If you find this useful, then please consider subscribing and liking the video. This is a great way of sharing files, so we'll guide you through this. On both computers, first of all, go and click on the Windows button at the bottom, which is Start, and open up Settings. You need to come over to the left and go and select System, and you need to go and scroll down and find Nearby Sharing and click there. What we need to do is go and turn it on for My Devices Only or Everyone Nearby.
Okay, that's as far as I'm going to go. And I said 1 minute 6 seconds. It's 1 hour 6 minutes long. So this gives you a second one that gives you maybe more up-to-date information, at least in some parts. Next up, this is something that Earl McCoy, who really only joins the Linux SIG group, came up with. This is a URL to common boot menu and settings hotkeys, so that if you look at your particular model, you can find out how to get into the boot menu settings and or the keys necessary to bring up a boot menu so that you can boot off of an alternate drive. And it goes into a pretty good depth here. So that's a resource you want to keep handy.
A tough time.
Now,
Microsoft is currently
how to download any Windows ISO version using UUP-dump. Now, I can't speak with certainty for Windows 10 after October the 14th, but this may be a tool that allows you to download lots of older versions of 10 and 11 right now. And it may continue with 10 for some undetermined period of time as a alternative. This is a complex little piece of software. It can take an exact image of your running system, whether it's 10 or 11, and make an ISO file that could be installed on any other computer for the most part. The one thing that would occur when you try and run the machine on another machine is it will, in the beginning, pull in necessary drivers to make it basically work. But there may be a lot of other additional drivers you would have to update. So I'm not going to go into depth on this. If you're interested, keep the information handy.
everybody.
Okay, now this one is something worth looking at. This is for Windows 11 people, and I brought up before Wintoys several months back. So this one is kind of interesting, and this is can't think of his. This is Paul Surratt. He's a very well-known guy. And a lot of these presenters that make these videos are ex-Microsoft employees.
And welcome back to Hands on Windows. I'm Paul Thrott, and this week we're going to look at a third-party utility, a kind of a Windows 11 tweak utility, if you will, that I feel is not perfect, but is as close as I've seen so far, to something close to perfect for this purpose. So if you've been watching this show for a while, you know we've spent some time over the past year looking at various Microsoft and third-party utilities that help make Windows work more the way you want it to work. This is it's not a new one, it's new to us, it's new to me, called Wintoys. It's available for free in the Microsoft Store. So if I could figure out how to launch the Microsoft Store, you can search for it there. And I believe this is actually the only way you can get this, but I have already installed it, so it is available. And if you run this app, you'll see something that looks very much like a modern Windows 11 style app, right? This, to me, fits in very nicely with PowerToys, which is a set of utilities from Microsoft that we've talked about in the past. There's not a lot of overlap, honestly. This is more along the lines of that, tweak the UI, tweak the way things work in the background, make Windows work the way you want it to work. I'm using dark mode here because it's just easier on the eyes when we're recording video. Normally I'd be in kind of a light mode, but if you look at this app, you can see it looks like a modern app, so it's nice. It looks like something, honestly, that Microsoft might include with Windows. I wish. So a lot of this is honestly collections of capabilities that are available in Windows, but are available all all over the place in Windows, right? And so this apps tab, for example, allows you to do a lot of the things you would do from within the settings app in Windows if you go into the apps interface. Ditto for the services tab, which is the type of thing we would typically access through Task Manager, right? So there's a services are available actually in processes. So there's a services tab. So same functionality again, right? Performance, again, very similar to some of the stuff you see in Task Manager, but also some of the things you see across the settings app, which is one of the big points of this app. It's not, I've kind of gone through every screen. I don't necessarily feel that you have to, make little changes everywhere in this UI, but as we step through this quickly, because I want to get to the last section, you'll just see things that will seem familiar for the most part. You'll look and say, okay, I've seen that before. I've seen that, somewhere, and it's not always clear where these things are. And so I think that alone is something of a benefit. But the real benefit to this app occurs here in this tweaks area. And this is where I spent the most time. So there's a lot of stuff in here. It's worth going through all of it. And so the only thing in here that to me is completely unique that I don't think I've seen anywhere, I'm sure this is available in the registry somewhere, but is this wallpaper quality slider. By default, this is somewhere in the middle. I don't remember where it was, but I actually bumped this up to 100%. So whatever images you're displaying in the background, obviously they take up a little bit of resource. System resources, the system has to draw the image in the background, etc. But if you have a decently powerful computer, as you would in 2025, not a big deal. So why not make that look as good as it can look? Some start menu tweaks here. I've done some things in here, and specifically I've disabled everything, right? This is something you should look at one by one and as you think about this kind of stuff. But I don't like the little spurious account notifications you see down in the corner where it tells you, oh, you should back up now, or you should do whatever you want to do with whatever it is they want you to do with your Microsoft account. So I turn all this stuff off. That's nice. And then the File Explorer one, this might be the biggest one. I've almost done individual episodes on File Explorer alternatives. I've looked at a lot of them. I don't like most of them. Some of them are pretty, but they move really slowly. The performance is bad, et cetera, et cetera. One of the things that's in here, and I actually use a registry script to do this manually normally, is the ability to use the classic version of File Explorer. So I've actually enabled that. And what classic means is this interface you see here. So this is not the modern Windows 11 style UI. It doesn't have that WinUI 3 the kind of front end. This is the version that you would have seen in the very first version of Windows 11, right when it first shipped in 2021, or in Windows 10, right? So it doesn't have any of the kind of cruft that is around, usually around the borders of this thing. I have made other changes here. I take off some of the stuff from the home screen here, but the point of this is that when you get rid of that UI layer, this thing comes up really quick. This doesn't help with file transfers or anything like that, but I'm hitting File Explorer all day long, and there are so many times where I just wanted to go in and go somewhere, and it's sitting there drawing the app. It's very strange. So I've actually enabled it. I've been running this for about 3 weeks reliably. It's been working great. So that for me has been kind of a game changer. I really, really appreciate that one. Privacy is also a big one. So there's a lot here. If you think back to the privacy episode we would have done a million years ago, or if you've read the Windows 11 Field Guide, one thing you may know is that these settings are actually in the settings app for the most part, all but one, but they're all over the place. And you have to know where to dive in and out to find these things. It's nice to have this right here where it is, right? So I always do enable location tracking. I disable optional telemetry, but this allows you to actually turn it off. And that's the unique feature that's in here. So this is worth looking at. This is a nice, just for this one area alone, this is super nice because this is an area where Microsoft purposely makes it hard to find these options. They're all over the place. So this is a really nice one. And then adds, again, this is not as convoluted, but these are all, for the most part, features that you can go into settings and disable as well. And so typically the way I do something like this is a pop-up will appear and we'll say, hey, there's a suggested app. And I'll say, hey, time to turn off that notification. But this gives you a one-stop shop for that, right? I've left this homepage in settings on, and that's just because it's kind of a nice front end. This is the homepage here. So if you disable this, it will default to this system view instead. But I actually don't mind the homepage in settings. One of the issues here is there are little bits of ad type things occurring in here. You know, it wants you to back up, etc. You might get a banner up here at the top, but I don't find this objectionable, so I leave that on. But that's, you know, something that you should look at for sure. And then in settings, this is an option that Microsoft added to Windows 11 recently, but it's not enabled by default. It's somewhere in settings. It's in there. But now so if I ran an app like Notepad, for example, and I right-click this, there's a new option here for End Task. And this gives you the same functionality you would typically get if you went into, you know, maybe this app has crashed, but it's not going away. It's still sitting there. So you open Task Manager, you find it, right-click End Task, right? This is just a quicker way to get to that. I find that useful. It says something negative, I think, about how reliable Windows apps are, but I think this is kind of a nice thing. And then you can look, again, as always, look through whatever else is there. But to me, that's the big one there. And the last thing, this is one, actually, that might be in System. Is this in System? Where is this? I don't see it right now, but there's an option in here. Sorry, it is in System. So there's an option in here called Digital Markets Act. And Microsoft has made a series of changes to Windows 11 available to people who live within the EU or the European Economic Area. And some of those capabilities are things that they don't give to people in the rest of the world. So, for example, you could uninstall Microsoft Edge. If you absolutely never want to run this thing, you want your own browser to actually appear, God forbid, when you run, you know, something from widgets or from search or whatever, you can enable this. So I've actually, I enabled it originally. I went back and disabled it. I don't want to inadvertently do something that screws around too much for the system, but that is one of the things that this app gives you that gives you the capability to do, even if you don't live within the EU. So I think that's pretty cool. So again, just for this tweaks page and all of the subpages that appear here, this app to me is pretty amazing. There's more stuff going on. You can see down here spotlight images, so I don't have those on the desktop. I'm pretty sure I must have them enabled on the lock screen, but this allows you to actually get those images and download them to your computer. We can use them for wallpaper, right? There's stuff like that. So it's absolutely worth going through this entire app. But again, for me, the point of this is this tweaks UI, user interface, I should say, and there's just an incredible range of stuff in there, from, you know, the privacy to the file explorer change that I made, et cetera. So this has been kind of a game changer for me. I would say the only thing that this app is missing is a way for it to monitor your system and prompt you if you install an update that changes one of those things back. So every once in a while, you kind of want to go in and take a look, make sure things are the way you wanted them to be, or maybe it's something you'll see in the UI that you can go back in and make that change again. But so far, so good. Like I said, at this point, I think I've been running this about 3 weeks, and it looks like it's all set up exactly the way it was when I first configured it, or whatever changes I've made since. So I don't think Windows has screwed with it yet. So that's good news. So there you go. This is something to check out if you want Windows to work the way you want it to work, and I certainly do. Definitely look for Wintoys in the Microsoft Store.
I agree with that, and what I want to do is, hang on 1 second here while I go to Start button, Settings, come down to Accessibility. Visual effects, this only applies to 11, does not exist in 10. And I turn all these off, but usually this one gets turned back on by updates. So if I turn this off here, those visual effects that chew up some of your horsepower of your computer will no longer be changed by Microsoft. However, there is a gotcha. And the gotcha is you have to run a archaic utility, hold down the Windows key, hit R, and type in SYSDM period CPL. Press enter. And I gotta give the administrators rights because you're changing settings. And this is a security feature because I'm in a standard account. Go to advanced, go to performance, and these are the only ones you really need to have checked off. If there's anything else checked here, uncheck it. And with the other setting in accessibility, that will keep your system cleaner than what it used to be with 10. With 10, you had to go into this setting almost every month after the updates are applied to get rid of Microsoft turning those settings back on and chewing up some of your horsepower of your computer that's unnecessary and most people don't want, because they're mostly referred to as eye candy. And within 30 days, most people are blasé about the eye candy. So why not turn it off and gain a little performance back in your system? Any other questions about this video or comments? We're getting close.
I'm trying to use the AI companion. It says I have to ask the host.
Pardon?
I'm trying to use the AI companion at the bottom of the Zoom screen.
Yeah.
And it says ask the host to turn it on.
No kidding. And I keep saying denied.
Oh, it doesn't come on my screen. It's saying denied. I don't see that.
It doesn't come up. That interferes with a lot of presentations, so that's why I don't run it.
Okay. I've been running it last couple of meetings to do like a meeting summary at the end of the meeting.
If the person allows it, that's fine. If it causes them problems in the presentation, it's their problem. Okay?
Yeah. What I'm asking is if you can turn it on at the end of the meeting.
Nope.
Oh, you can't turn it on
at all. It has caused me problems in the past, and I'm not going to turn it on.
Oh, okay.
Here's 3 tools to eliminate 11's tracking. Now, I don't remember if I've got in this list here that I handed out to you, but there are Windows 10 and 11. The whole design and concept was completely changed, and now they accumulate vast volumes of information from all of our systems. These tools will help turn a lot of that stuff off. I'll leave it up to you to read the article and decide whether you want to try some of them out or not. Microsoft will not die without the information. Another thing regarding Paul Thurrott's presentation there, and this just came up recently. Microsoft really owns GitHub, which most software developers use to create the software. They are going to roll GitHub into Microsoft as part of Microsoft. That may present a problem to a lot of software developers currently on GitHub that may have to change to some other platform because they will not like to have Microsoft with that much control. They already
I know that GitHub is owned by Microsoft.
Yes, it
but
is.
Is GitHub not going to be independent anymore?
Right. That's what I'm hearing in one of the videos I came up with. It is going to be rolled into Microsoft as part of Microsoft, not just owned by an independent platform for software developers.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Well,
I
it is
use
what
some
it
of their
is. I
service.
almost forgot to mention that.
I use some of GitHub services. I hope
Oh,
they
I
don't
do
go
too.
away.
Next up, boy, use of AI for all my web searches, but it's much more dangerous than I realized. And this is something that's real. You have to read the article to go through. It sounds smart even when it's wrong. You're not always getting a full picture. It's not immune to misinformation or manipulation. It can quietly echo biases in its training data. What you see might depend on who it thinks you are, believe it or not. And questions may not be as private as you think. Remember, the AI is also trying to learn at the same time. And that's another reason why you got to give feedback, and it learns from that feedback for future questions and along the lines of what you're asking for. You could be held responsible for mistakes. I'm not exactly sure of the circumstances. I don't remember what I read in here because I read
Generate
this about 2
APKs,
weeks
Bill.
ago. Pardon?
I'm sorry, I interrupted.
All right, and oh boy, these ads. I use this free Windows tool to find what's slowing down my computer. So if you're having problems, here's some advice for things that you can do yourself. Windows device performance and health. Windows resource monitor. Some of these same kind of conceptual tools also exist in Linux world. And I'm pretty sure in Mac as well. Windows memory diagnostics. I discovered last year on a few of my machines I had some problems. I ran the memory diagnostics and found that I had about 3 or 4 modules that were bad that I had to pull out and replace with another memory module, and I rechecked and it was a-okay. Hardware info is a third-party piece of software, gives a lot of good information. Again, Wintoys. Gee, I wonder why. And Crystal Disk Info. This is one of the heavy used performance evaluating programs that a lot of people into the hardware end of things. As new hardware comes out, they get a hold of a model of the hardware. They run Crystal reports and other similar programs to be able to evaluate the performance of that hardware in comparison to other pieces of hardware people may already have or are looking at. So it gives you a guideline as to whether you want to use, buy and use a particular piece of hardware or say, maybe not, maybe not.
It seems Microsoft is now making
a new migration tool. This is interesting. This must be because of other tools that Ron Freeman has brought up in the past, Nat, about migrating your information and programs from Windows 10 system to a new 11 system. But I think this is restricted
170.2.
just to data.
a new PC migration app for Windows 11. Microsoft seems to be working on this new migration app to better help users transfer files and apps and data from one PC to another. This was discovered by Phantom of Earth and also brought to you by Dongle, as you can see here on his Twitter account. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. First, you can see here, what would you like to do? It says back up this PC, or you have transfer files to a new PC. Once you click on the next screen, it says searching for network connection. Then you can move on to the next part of the app, which says easily transfer info from one PC to another. It will give you this type of OTE to type out, and then once you've done that, you can move on to the next phase of the transfer. Here it says, is this PC you would like to transfer files from? You can say yes, start the transfer, or no. Once you click yes, it's going to start the transfer. Then you'll get this next pop-up screen saying waiting for other PC to begin transfer to make sure the PC is connected to the power outlet throughout the transfer process. And you can see here, transfer process initiated the new PC. And you can see on the screen, he's gone from, say, one old PC to a new PC. And again, your transfer has now been completed. And you've just transferred all of your data and programs and stuff over to that new PC. So the first option would be obviously to back up all your files to the selected Microsoft Cloud Storage service like OneDrive. And the second option, which is your transfer files from one PC to another, works basically like copying or transferring all the data from one PC to another. Now, if you cancel out or the internet loses connection, it will look something like this. And this is something that's been compiled by Dongle himself. But before we continue, let's have a quick word from today's video sponsor, CD Key Sales. If you're looking for a cheap Windows 11 Pro OEM key, then check out the links in the video description. Once you click on those links, you can create yourself an account and buy the actual key and use my promo code capital P capital R09 and apply this to your order and get a 30% discount on all of your purchases on CD Key Sales. Once you've done that, you can submit your order, use your payment method. They will then send you your key, and you can use that key to activate your version of Windows, just like you see on the screen right here. Very simple and easy to do. Now, Dongle does mention that the images are not of the real app, but of a reconstruction of the UI of bits left in the build. So some of the styling and layout details might be incorrect due to the incompleteness of the decompilation. But Microsoft are working on a migration app, and obviously this UI reconstruction is just something that they're trying to piece together to show you exactly what it will probably look like when it's been completed. So obviously things can change. Obviously full credit goes to Dongle and also Phantom of the Earth and Ahmed Walid for sharing this information. I do appreciate it because it allows us to give you more information and share it to a larger audience. But I do want to give them the credit for sharing the information and the images for this so we can share it with you guys. Anyway, now Microsoft have created a migration tool in the past. You can see here the user state migration tool, which is USMT for short. This was a command line based type of migration, and you can see here, which was quite a complex way of migrating the system. And I will leave a link for this in the video description. But again, you can also use other things like PC Mover Express and other things like that as well. But these aren't free utilities. I'll quickly show you some of the other alternatives that you might want to look at, which is mentioned here, which is the Laplinks PC Mover. This has been around for many years, since probably Windows XP, if I remember, to help you migrate from one operating system to another, and it copies all of your data and your applications and everything else and completely transfers it over to a new operating system. Again, this is not going to be a free application, but it is out there, and it has been out there for a very long time. And these are not the only ones that are out there creating applications like this. So I suppose Microsoft want to bring their own alternative, which will be in-house on their own operating system, which obviously means people don't have to then go out and install third-party software and pay for software. So they're trying to probably, help people by putting that onto the system for you. Again, it's just a lot of bloat for other people, but some people will find it useful. Z install is another transfer everything to a new computer type application that you can use, which has been out there for a while, and Windows Easy Transfer for Windows 11 and Windows 10. It's a free download, but it is a paid app. They're not free applications that you can use. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, whether you think...
Okay, 2 comments. Number 1, If you use this transfer and some other transfer programs through your Ethernet cable, don't do this with Wi-Fi, period. There's too many problems with Wi-Fi for this kind of transfer. The problem is both the sending and receiving machine are tied up until the operation is totally done. If you take and copy your data to OneDrive, Google Drive, Proton Drive, or other similar software in the cloud, or to a USB drive, that machine is tied up until the copy is done. Then it's available. Then you take and go to the other target machine and do the reverse process of restoring from whatever media you used the data, and it's tied up until it's absolutely done. So one ties up both machines. One says, okay, I'll tie up one machine at a time, and that I can live with that because I can keep using the other machine to my heart's content. So keep that in mind.
Hi, we're Techies Made Simple.
Okay, this is again about the migration tool, so its reinforcement may give you a little different perspective of what the previous person video detailed.
How to migrate data from old PC to new PC. Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I'll show you how to move all your data to a new PC. We'll be discussing 3 different scenarios so that you can find the one that fits your situation. The first scenario is when both your new and old computers are at hand and you can easily access them for data transfer operations. The second scenario is when the 2 computers are in different places, one at home and one at the office, for example, and you want to transfer files, apps, and some other stuff from the office computer to the one at home. And the third is, my old PC is dead, but I need my data, where we all have been once. In this case, I will show you how to rescue the data from your old disk. To achieve this, we need a versatile tool. For example, Easy's To Do PC Trans. This tool enables you to transfer files, apps, and even your settings between 2 devices. And the best part is that it offers an option to transfer your data without needing a cable or any external devices, allowing you to switch to a new computer seamlessly without the hassle of reconfiguring everything. You can
I'll let you go through the rest of the options that she's providing for this transfer.
What you guys got another video here for you?
Okay, it's not done yet. This is talking about the issue.
It is not done yet, and it's fighting back. There's lots of people that are stuck on Windows 10 and they can't upgrade to Windows 11, but it seems that Windows 11 was overtaking Windows 10, and it seems that Windows 10 is now fighting back and becoming more popular once again. So let's discuss it further after a quick word from today's video sponsor, CD Key Sales. If you're looking for cheap...
I'll let you go through the rest of that video if you're interested.
Microsoft apparently just realized that a lot of people really want to stay on Windows 10. They just made an announcement that makes it effectively free to get the so-called extended security updates for a year, for 1 additional year of support, whereas before it would have cost $30 for consumers. There is a tiny catch, but it's really not a big deal, and you'll actually have 3 options for how to get these extended updates. They even created an enrollment wizard or tool to get the extended updates that I can show you, and it's going to be rolling out.
Yeah, and that's the key. It's rolling out. So some people have it now. Some people will get it over the next couple months. So it depends upon the rollout sequence as to when each individual will get the options. But if you're stuck on 10 and you're not going to 11, look at the ESU. The easiest one to deal with is if you are attached to a Microsoft account, check your Microsoft account rewards. As long as you got 1,000 points, you cash in 1,000 points of the rewards, which amounts to about $1. And you get the 1 year extended support for Windows 10 security updates. Other than that, the other options that's free is doing some backup and syncing of your settings to the OneDrive. And a lot of people don't want to even mess with OneDrive, so it's not an option for them. The third is paying $30, and it probably is not cost justifiable for most people. Now this one here is a video. How to run Android apps on...
So you want to run Android apps on your PC without dealing with emulators like BlueStacks that give you lags, crashes, and random freezes all the time. Well, I found a way through which you can get full access to the Google Play Store without installing any emulator. That means you can download apps, play games, use social media, just like on a real Android phone. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. First, search for Windows Subsystem for Android on Google. You'll see a few links, but you need to look for the GitHub page related to WSA. Once you're on this page, scroll down, and you'll find a list of releases.
Okay, due to the time that I'll let you guys get into that, and there's, as you can see here, many more articles that are in the handout. I suggest you go through all of them because you'll find nuggets of information that you may otherwise not know about. So this is a real bonanza that I've had the last several months, and that suddenly I'm getting a plethora of a lot of information that's going into the handouts that we cannot cover in 2 hours.
Tim, the Windows subsystem for Android has been discontinued as of March.
Okay, and this guy doesn't have in here the date this was done, so I can't tell you how old this video is.
It's just 1 month ago, according to the description.
Oh yeah, I didn't.
But it's been discontinued.
Yeah, but
wait a minute.
Apparently,
are you saying that the entire WSL is going away?
No, WSA, Android.
Oh yeah, that's been gone for a while.
March.
Well, he did it 30 days ago. So you tell me how he did it.
He probably kept it.
Well, basically, in order to do it theoretically, I've done it before with the Android apps, and I've even bundled in the Google Play App Store. My understanding is that, and I stopped doing the Android installs when Amazon officially removed the Amazon Play Store from the Microsoft Store, because in order to install the WSA, you needed to have the Amazon Store.
Well,
and when they took the Amazon Store away, the only other way to do it, and I probably still have some of the downloaded hacks, where you could download a hacked version of the WSA, and instead of using the Amazon App Store, it uses the Google Play App Store.
That well, he was saying here, just to back up a little bit here, here's a WSA build. So I don't care if Microsoft took it out. He's telling you how to put a WSA in and run the Android apps. There are a lot of people running Android phones that like to have some of the apps that they run on the phone also on their desktop or laptop. This is
I converted to BlueStacks as an emulator.
Well, and he got a negative on BlueStacks, and I've read a few odds and ends on BlueStack having some issues. So take it for what it's worth.
But yeah, I don't know. When I abandoned WSA and went to BlueStacks, I haven't. I can't complain about anything in particular.
I don't know what his complaint is either, as far as that goes. But
he has complaints about stability and performance.
Okay.
But the question I have is, how do we know we can trust him?
How do you know you can trust anybody?
How do we know this is
here on this meeting?
How do we know this hacked version isn't a crack?
Okay, I'll grant you that one. But there are ways of researching that as well.
Yeah.
Okay. I would be careful.
Yeah, I don't think there is a way of getting GSA in there without some kind of a third-party hack right now. Because I remember when Windows 11 first came out, before Microsoft even released it to the public, I was loading it through hacks that I downloaded off the internet. And then Microsoft would change WSA and it wouldn't work anymore. And then I had to rebuild it again. And eventually it just became too much of a pain in the ass.
Right. And this is a problem. But the thing is, too, any third-party software, you have to check out the sources of the software support that you are trying to use, because as an example, years and years back, CNN got a bad reputation due to a lot of bad pieces of software that were in their download site. Now, I haven't used CNN for 10, 15 years because of that, and I don't know if they cleaned up their act or not. But
that's CNET.
Huh?
CNET. Not CNN.
CNET. I don't know exactly what I said, but anyway, CNET. It's a case where they got a bad reputation because of bad software. Some of it had malware, etc., in it, and I don't know if they ever cleaned that mess up, because I haven't gone back to them, and I don't intend to. So the sources I use so far, I have had absolutely no problems with. If you run Malwarebytes free, you can check out after installing something if it contains malicious software. It does not cover the possibility of the app calling home to the person who created the available software, providing privacy information about you. I don't know of any program that will check that aspect, other than if you want to try and learn how to use Wireshark to monitor all traffic. And when you install a new program, you focus on that one for quite a period of time now to see if it calls home. If it does, you might want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
But
that Wireshark is, for those of you who have never heard of Wireshark, there used to be a big device, expensive, called the Sniffer. I don't know if it still exists or not, but it was what corporations used to use to sniff packets on the network. Wireshark is an open source program that is kind of like a packet sniffer, and it's a very useful tool if you are in this situation where you're suspecting that something might be afoul.
Yes, but it's also a very advanced tool in networking, and I don't think most people that are general users are ever going to want to touch Wireshark. So they rely upon others who might use Wireshark to say, hey, In fact, Google fairly recently has been nailing about a dozen or more extensions to the Chrome browser for privacy and other violations that put their application in non-compliance to what Google says you have to comply with as a developer. Now, some of them have created new versions that are in compliance. Whether they address the privacy issue or not, I don't know. But you're now relying upon Google or some other white hat hacker to find these problems of privacy or malware that are out there, and you have to listen. You have to be proactive. If you have it or you use it, you might want to get rid of it. If you don't do that, or you don't listen and you don't get the information, hey, it's like the regular news. If you don't listen to that, you don't know some of the problems that you might run into just trying to go from your home to work and back. Because there may be severe flooding or something like that. Look at all the people that end up on the news that end up driving into deep water and their engine clocks out. And then they're ticked off that their vehicle probably will end up getting totaled, or it's going to cost them a fortune to get operational again, and they'll want to get rid of it as soon as they can. You got to listen to what's going on around you, or you end up screwed at some point in time.
Another thing that you can do is install a separate firewall that doesn't allow anything through that you don't explicitly let through.
I'm using that on several of my computers. Only mine is an enhanced. There's two ways of going: a separate total replacement of Windows Firewall with a third-party firewall, which is doable. Or in my case, I use a add-on that Malwarebytes provides that adds outbound firewall protection in addition to the inbound that the Windows Firewall provides, and I boost them up to from a low level setting to a medium, and you have problems from time to time getting to sites on the internet, and you have to remember, oh, I got increased security on the firewall. I got to go into the firewall, check the settings, and I'll probably find I've got to give permission to certain things that are needed for that application to work correct again. And one of the biggest offenders is WebView 2. And that is constantly changing in some way, shape, or form, and may not allow your browser to even function until you change that firewall setting and say, allow that WebView 2. They give you specific ID numbers, and only the unique ones have to be allowed. So that's a whole different ball game, but it is a viable way of helping out in both privacy and preventing infections from getting in from the outside world. But by itself, it only stops things that want to get in that it knows nothing about, and it's automatically denied. It does not stop you from downloading any piece of software that may, in total or in part, contain malware. That's the job of your AV program and something like Malwarebytes free scanner. Another tool that is a possibility for trying to protect your system is a sandbox. Windows 11 has a sandbox feature. but you have to have the Pro version, not the home version of 11, and you have to turn on virtualization and optional features, and then you have to set up the sandbox. So you have to do a
Yep.
lot of research on setting that up.
Yeah, I just did that for myself a couple of weeks ago. I upgraded my home to Pro and enabled the Windows Sandbox.
Right.
You have to go into the section where you say turn additional features on and off, and check the box for Sandbox, and then the Sandbox essentially is a pre-configured uh, Windows Pro virtual machine.
Right.
And it launches on my machine. It only takes about 8 or 9 seconds for it to boot up and launch. Um, and I was even able to ask ChatGPT, is there any way for me to access my downloads folder on my D drive from inside the virtual machine, which by default is isolated? And it said, sure, write you a startup script. And it wrote me a script, and I double clicked on it, and poof, I had access to my D drive.
Yes, but you have to be careful about that, because if you downloaded something that is or contains malware in it, you just open up Pandora's box. You created a hole in the sandbox.
Right.
So you have.
I have the hole going to an empty directory.
That's fine. It doesn't matter. You created a hole that defeats some of the purpose of the sandbox in the first place. So you have to keep that in mind. It can be a security issue. But another thing is the last 1 or 2 months, I have published in my handouts 1 or more articles on how to set up Windows Sandbox. So if you're really interested and you got the handouts from the last 2 months, there's an article, at least one, in there over Windows sandboxing.
Yep. And there's another program that I found that's been around for a long time called Sandbox E.
Right.
And it works on the home version of Windows rather than requiring Pro.
Right.
And when you install a new software program, it has the ability to know that your Windows is there, but it has no permission to read or write to your registry or your file system.
Right. And I used to use sandboxing myself years ago, and had, I think, going back to Windows 7, it could even be Windows XP. And but I stopped using it after I got other features and didn't feel I needed to use sandboxing. There were some characteristics of sandboxing I didn't like. They may have changed a lot of that in the years that I have not touched it. But we're running out of time here, folks. We're already way past due. So unless there's some last minute comments or questions in that, I'm going to bring up the fact that Thursday night is the Northwest Computer Club with Ed Keating, and a week from tonight is the Linux SIG meeting. Anybody got any last comments?
Not that I can think of. My fly-by-11 finished okay, so that worked.
I've run it several times in it, and I will give the guy credit. It runs good, it runs smooth, but that goes back into 2023 or 2020, very early 2024, and there were a lot of rough spots. But the current versions in 2025, if you only get the 2025 versions, they work like a champ.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not for everybody. And even the machine I'm on right now still is running unsupported 11 on an old machine, and that's more than 15 years old. And
Yep.
it works, but it's not supported. I don't have all the features. It can only go as far as 23H2 because it doesn't have the pop count and does not support SSE 4.2.
Well, it's for people who are like us that are a little more technical. It's not your primary machine. You know, you don't want to do this to your only computer.
Agreed. In fact, when you're starting to experiment, never ever touch your primary computer. Do not touch your secondary backup computer in case something happens to the primary. You got the secondary to go to and you still got connectivity. What you want is a trinary computer, one that is only used once in a while, only for experimenting and trying out things. If they work, you might be able to migrate it next to your backup machine and then do your primary last. But don't ever touch your primary and secondary machine. I always recommend people have at least 2 machines. Why? Because on remote support, I don't want to sit on the phone. Sometimes I am giving 4 or 5 straight hours of support to somebody. The phone batteries die, folks. If you got a second computer, I can have a conversation with you over the internet while on working on your primary machine that is sick. And that's why you have 2. And it's good to have a webcam camera that can be pointed at various spots, especially if there's hardware issues that I gotta try and deal with and talk you through. Tom O'Connor here can attest to that because I had to do the same thing with him. And he only had one webcam camera other than the camera built into a laptop that is too restrictive to use. But we got to be ending this meeting. I thought it was a good meeting. I hope all of you got something out of it. Ron's presentation was good, and he'll have a repeat of that at the West Side meeting next month. And then South Suburban will have his last video on the conversion of 10 to 11, and maybe West Side in the beginning of October. So that's as far as I know at the moment.
Okay, thanks, Tim.
All right. Everybody have a good night, and hopefully you don't drown with all the rain that some areas are getting. Have a good night.
Good night.
Yep.
Recording stopped.